No. Okay, so this is probably going to end up being the pre-music rant or sound clip or whatever. But among my friend group, I am a notorious steampunk.
Oh, okay.
I do not like steampunk, mostly because it's never done well, and it's just an excuse for goths to wear brown.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not a genre. Steampunk is not a genre. It's like a clothing aesthetic. Hello and welcome to Madoka Magicast, a podcast devoted to the dark magical girl anime Puella Magi Madoka Magica. I'm your host Amanda, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Yasha and Vanna, the owners of the biggest revolutionary girl Utena website, Empty Movement. Hey guys!
Hi!
I'm joining them as they watch Madoka Magica for the first time ever, and on this podcast we talk about what we love and sometimes don't love about the show. How are you guys doing today?
It's been a hectic day. We just recorded the Sarazanmai 4 episode and also streamed it, so you should come and join the streams if you can. It's a lot of fun.
I should. I know. I try to. I just have a lot going on.
Yeah, no,
I can't always make it. Yeah.
I hear you.
I was able to get to the last stream where we watched this episode and the one after that, and that was fun.
I'm going to have a hard time not discussing the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah, the 7 and 8 are really, like...
However, we were right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We were right.
I was trying to, give you as many red herrings as I could, but I don't think I did a very good job when it comes to that.
No, you definitely tried. We were just stubbornly like, no, this is it. This is gonna happen.
I know. Well, one thing I will say is that the twists and turns of the show are a lot more effective if you just binge watch it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I can definitely see that.
We have the opportunity to sit and pick apart every episode, so
we have the benefit of contemplation between episodes.
Yeah.
So we've got
and watching this for a podcast is different because when we do these episodes, we watch each episode at least twice to try to before we do it, and then we sit here and we talk about it for an hour.
Yeah.
So how many people would put this much thought into the show?
A lot of people. I mean,
okay, yeah. So,
it's very well curated.
Say?
I was gonna say this fandom is very well curated. I've really tried to stay away, but when I started poking around with the buildings and stuff, I was curious. And yes, people have indeed broken down every single shot and listed every single building in every single episode. They go episode by episode with this, and I was not going to get anywhere near that. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's been done is very it's that fan base.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that I'm probably still correct in that how many total people who have ever seen this show put this much thought into it. Because you can find a tiny minority of ultra fans for pretty much anything.
That's true.
Yeah. So, but before we can get to that juiciest of episodes,
yes,
we've got the one for today. Now, do we want to get into a little bit of preliminary stuff before we get to that stuff?
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely.
Okay, so Patreon's still being worked on. I know we keep saying that. It's on the way.
Didn't somebody actually already contributed to it, didn't they? Because I thought I saw an email that said that somebody was giving us $2 a month on the Patreon.
What?
Yeah.
Really? I missed this.
Well,
we need to thank that person.
That's new $2 patron, Willie Vanilli.
So it looks like somebody named Willie Vanilli independently found our unopened Patreon page and is now our official first patron.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Willie Vanilli, thank you so much. Yeah, that's awesome.
That takes some damn determination, too.
Yeah,
I feel really
we're definitely going to give these people money.
Yeah, that's great. So maybe this means we need to just go ahead and open it now. I don't know.
Yeah, I think now
okay. Yeah.
It's been done.
One thing maybe we'll add, so we have been talking about doing one of the rewards tiers will be us doing a Madoka Magica themed tabletop game, and which one of you are going to to DM that?
Me, Yasha.
Okay, you want to tell us about it?
Well, I'm actually thinking about setting it in history and setting it in the Victorian period, because if Kyube has been doing this all along, and I assume he has, I assume that he's been doing this for hundreds, if not thousands of years, or something like him. So I thought it would be interesting to have magical girls in the Victorian era. And also, can you imagine even how many ruffles would be on those magical girl dresses? Wouldn't it be amazing?
It would be a lot.
But yeah, so, like, I didn't want to do something modern because that felt like it was just copying the show, but I think with a little historical twist on it, that could be a lot of fun for us.
All right, I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
We gotta get Panda, too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll leave that. I've never played a tabletop game. Like a RPG. So plenty of board games, but
I have not really either. I think I've done like half a game.
21 years.
In my life, so.
21 years of experience with it. Yeah. I started early. I basically got kidnapped by some friends of mine, and they were like, you are going to learn to play Dungeons & Dragons. And I was like, I guess
so. Well, then you're perfect for that, then.
Yes.
Yes. So another thing I specifically may start doing soon is commissions that are like, I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but it's just a little drawing very similar to the avatars that we use for the show. And right now I'm working on some free ones for my friends so that we have some like samples basically to let people get the right idea what they're going to be. Mm-hmm. But I'll post that when it's ready. And then finally, we, a friend of the show, my really good friend April, she is known as Erilins on Twitter. She is I don't want to call her internet famous, but she has way more followers on her Twitter than I do. And she runs an Etsy store, and I've known her for years and years. We go way back. And she was nice enough to offer to design a pin for us to use as merch for the show. And she basically said that she'd do it for free, and that as long as she got to keep one of them for herself.
Yeah, wow.
The rest of it can go to us. Yeah, so
that's so sweet of
super
her.
nice of
Thank
her.
you. Thank you.
The design is still being finalized, but it's I can tell you it's a picture of Madoka, and she's making a heart with her hands over her soul gem on her chest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the pin itself is shaped like a heart, so it's not a circle pin, it's a heart pin.
That's adorable.
And we don't know if people want the pin with or without the name of the show on it, so we might do one batch without the name and another batch with Madoka Magicast on the name, like on the pin, and then just see which ones people would rather have.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We could always,
and like send us a curious cat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let us know. Do you
tell us what you think, my friend,
on Twitter.
Yeah, like maybe when the design gets finalized, we can put both of them up and then ask people which one they like more. Yeah, that's actually a great idea. And one more thing, we joked like last episode, I think, about having a cocktail list for when we watch Rebellion, and I don't know about you guys, but I was dead serious when
I'm dead. Oh yeah, I don't fuck around when it comes to drinking.
So
exactly.
If you have any ideas about Madoka themed cocktails or Rebellion themed cocktails, please send them to us. You can send them through the Curious Cat or by email madokamagicast@gmail.com, or you can send them by DM on Twitter. Just whatever you name them, maybe have them be zero spoilers for Rebellion itself. At that point, we'd have watched the entire series, so you can spoil the series and the names of the drinks you send us. But let's see what,
This episode has a cocktail in it.
This episode has a cocktail?
Oh.
Yeah, the apples.
Okay.
Oh, apples, yeah.
Actually, that has potential.
It's like, and I'm going to work churches into this somehow. I'm going to make this a religious thing.
Apples and communion wine for sangria.
I did drink a bottle of Manischewitz last week. Look, I have fond memories because that's what my mother used to buy me when I was entirely too young.
Oh.
When I was like a
Baby
little
alcoholic
wee
Theo.
little babby Italian 12-year-old,
Yeah.
she'd buy me Manischewitz.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Maybe we have to do that just to tie it into like the adolescent magical girl theme. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, let's get on to our episode here.
Let's do this.
Yep.
Yes. So we are watching episode 7. Can you face your true feelings? I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and guess that the answer to that question is no.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely no.
Yeah. The script was written by Gen Urobuchi, our boy. Storyboarded by Masayoshi Nishita, episode directed by Satoaki Kirokoro, and animation directed by Ryo Kabayashi and Tomoaki Kado. I feel like the only name in there that I really recognize is Gen today.
Yeah.
What's going on here, Shaft?
Yeah.
We should go through and check sometime.
What
Yeah,
you
we
do?
should do that eventually.
What do, Shaft?
All right.
Yeah. So we get to our cold open, and it is the immediate aftermath of what happened last episode, which is the discovery that becoming a magical girl rips your soul out of your body and puts it into a little rock, and that Kyubey, Ned doesn't tell anyone this before he does it.
Because that's how he rolls.
Yeah. So Sayaka goes home, and you can tell that she's pissed because she's throws
really
her
mad.
soul gem onto her desk.
And she just found out that's her soul, so...
Yeah, and she turns her desk chair over. She looks like she's ready to start strangling Kyubey, really.
Well,
There's
wouldn't
some
you be?
self-hating energy there.
Yeah,
If you're throwing your soul onto the table,
there's definitely a bit of that.
I do feel like there's some self-hatred energy in that.
Kyubey insists that he did not trick them. From his
That's
perspective,
bullshit.
it's you never asked, so I never told you because you never asked.
You never asked is the most villain fucking thing.
I know.
Yeah.
And he says, if you never knew, it wouldn't have even bothered you, so it doesn't matter. And Mommy didn't even know before she died, so
Wow.
which just seems to make Sayaka more angry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
This is and Kyubey keeps referring to this in the sense of you humans, and I'm getting convinced he's from elsewhere, outer space.
Yeah.
It's not
yeah,
in this
he's-
episode though.
He's
Why I
really not.
decided that.
He's clearly not human. By saying "you humans," it pretty definitively puts a character outside the realm of being a human. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he could have been a god or something like that, but I'm gonna
Oh.
go with alien because in the next episode there's a shot of him against a star field and it's so deliberate, but it's not in this episode, so we won't talk about that.
we'll see how that pans out. We'll see.
yeah.
But
So
villain energy.
the villain energy in this scene is immense. He's
Lunch.
you guys don't even know that you have souls, so putting it in the rock, it makes it easier for you to fight witches. And he's
Fine.
and then he does this thing where he's say you got stabbed by a spear, and he puts his little paw on her soul gem, and she starts writhing on the ground in pain.
And
He's
stays
giving-
that
straight up
way, the
torturing
shit.
her.
he
Like-
leaves his paw on this soul gem during his entire explanation of why he's doing this.
Yep.
He's it goes on for a minute, and he's listen, if I hadn't put your soul in this rock that I'm torturing right now, if you got hit by a spear, this is what it would feel like, and you wouldn't even be able to heal yourself with magic. But instead, because I did this, you survived your fight with Kyoko, and actually, if you get good enough at it, you can block out all pain. But I don't recommend that because your reaction time suffers. So wow, thanks for letting us know that, Kyubey. Even though
Literally,
we didn't ask.
Fucker.
Oh, okay. This
Motherfucker.
smells to me like something Kyubey deliberately wants her to do.
Yeah.
For reasons.
He wouldn't suggest it if he didn't
Yeah,
want her to do it.
He kind of has this, dumb, person from elsewhere energy where he's well, I don't know why you humans care so much about your souls, you can't even feel them. But he knows very well if you say anything to a 14-year-old,
They're gonna try.
they're going to go try to do the thing.
Yeah, and knowing what happens in next episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Claire-
want to spoil it for anyone who's maybe watching along the
But,
show with us.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a good chance that he knows what's going to happen, and that this
And
could
wants
contribute to what's going to happen in the next episode.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's arranging for that to happen.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
you do not put that idea in a child's head. You don't tell her that when she's already started to figure that out on
Yeah,
her own.
he
It's-
knows what he's doing here.
Yeah.
So after the opening, we see that Sayaka did not go to school, and Madoka is like staring at the empty space where her desk would be, and she's clearly worried about her.
There's a neat thing about these desks, like the technology level here. Basically, it's implied that the desk kind of unfolds out of the floor when there's a student to sit in it.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool. I don't know, like
this is some pretty neat money going into this school,
and yet they still use CD players.
Balls.
Yeah, that's how you can tell this was made in 2011.
Yeah,
rich as balls.
It's like in Back to the Future where they go to 2015 and they're still using fax machines.
Yep.
And nobody has a cell phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 chairs. Oh no, it was 2 chairs and a stool. Never mind.
Okay. Well, let's get to that part in the narration.
Okay. Yeah, we get a shot where we see that Sayaka is basically wallowing in bed under the covers, just blankly staring at her glowing soul gem, like she's really devastated about this. And we go back to school, and Homura and Madoka are up on the roof. Huh?
One sec. When Sayaka is wallowing in her bed, there's a chair alert.
There's 2 chairs and a footstool.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, being that they both face the bed, is still. I'm gonna give that a like.
Yeah, I am, because we're no longer in a hospital room.
Yeah, like why are there chairs facing your bed?
Yeah.
I don't have chairs facing my bed, and they're not in that shot. They're not in the first shot.
Yeah.
Which is from a distance, so it should have been there.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, it's 2 chairs and a footstool.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. It's 2 chairs and a footstool, and they should have been in the first shot, but they're not. So
they're not.
they
are.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And we're looking down at her inside her bedroom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like we're Spider-Man pasted to the ceiling. Lecherously looking down at a 14-year-old. Oh my god. Anyway.
Anywho.
So,
thanks.
Back at the school, Homura and Madoka are up on the roof, and Madoka's like, "Did you know about this soul thing?" And Homura says, "Yeah, I did, but I've tried to tell people in the past, and nobody ever believes me. Like, would you have believed me if I tried to tell you that?" And I feel like she's right, but also potentially because she's been such a bitch this whole time.
Yeah, she just does not radiate trustworthy, so I can see people being, like, a little antsy about things that come out of her mouth.
Yeah, so she's right, though. I doubt that, like, Sayaka wouldn't have listened to a damn thing she said.
Oh,
if she
hell
tell her that. Yeah.
I don't think she's not gonna listen now.
Yeah, so, she says, Kyubei doesn't understand human values, so he doesn't think it's cruel to not tell us that, and he thinks this deal is completely fair. And really, if you think about it,
I kind of agree.
Yeah, like he doesn't understand why anybody would be upset about that. He doesn't think that what it did was wrong.
No, full disclosure of the facts might have been nice.
That's what's making me think of it as unfair. Is there was no full disclosure, therefore the deal should be invalid.
Yeah,
that said, they give him he gives you a soul gem, and I feel like that kind of.
Well, yes. Don't forget though that it's soul gem in Japanese, so they don't use the Japanese word for a soul. Fair. They use the English word, so it's masked maybe a little bit better in Japanese than it is in English.
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, too, and it could be that it was interpreted just as a reflection of the state of your soul, and not actually your soul.
I think the way, I think the way Kyubei feels, it's a fair transaction regardless.
Yeah, but he's a fucker.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't feel it anyway, who cares? That said, this is clearly a thing he's had trouble with in the past because he does not disclose that information, and he does so in a way that makes me think this has backfired before when he's told people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
he had those lines in the last episode, like, why are humans always so upset about where their souls are being kept? Yeah.
Like, clearly this is something he's learned by trial and error.
Yes, he's learned not to tell them.
That's okay. Keeping Oscar alive. He reminds me of Mikage in the sense that he reads people as a calculation based on trial and error.
Yeah.
Like, he
Okay,
doesn't,
yeah.
like, Kyubey doesn't seem to me as a being with any inherent understanding of human nature. The way he acts makes me think what he knows about the way people act, he's learned by trial and error and and things like that, not by any internalized understanding of it. And like the quote unquote mistakes he makes speak to that. Like he's not. There's nothing sadistic about him, and there's nothing deliberately like he's deceptive, but it's not. He's not a villain in the way a human being would be. He's not. Yeah. This is all very routine and dry.
Yeah. We will eventually get to what exactly he's doing.
Yeah.
It's not in these next 2 episodes, but the show does like tell you like why is he doing all this.
For sure.
Yeah. So they're up on the roof talking, and Homura's trying to remind her that, you know, a miracle like healing somebody's arm that would never heal is really worth more than the life of a single person. So the deal, when you think of it that way, is pretty good. And she's reminding her to forget about Sayaka and don't feel responsible for her just because she saved you from a witch. That's not going to make Sayaka feel any better. Yeah. And Madoka is like, even though all this I think is pretty true, she asks why she's always so cold about all this stuff, and Homura says, she's like, maybe it's because I'm not human anymore either.
Well, that's a big Yasha mood.
Yeah. Big mood for me. But I mean, like, she's probably seen this go wrong so many times that she just can't anymore with the emotions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, she has clearly accepted the entire soul in your soul gem situation already at this point. So she doesn't really feel bad about it. Like, yep, I'm not human anymore. I'm in a rock. And my body carries me around.
I don't think Homura remotely anticipates surviving any of this.
Not really, no. Like, I mean more in like a broader sense, the reason why she's so emotionless is just like that she's seen whatever timelines just fuck up entirely, and she's probably seen it a lot. Yeah. So, and caring is effort. Empathy is effort.
She's just emotionally exhausted with having that kind of fuck to give.
Yeah.
And she's
exactly.
just given them up.
I completely agree. Completely agree.
Yeah, by experience, I know that does make you feel especially inhuman.
Yeah.
It's not a good state to be in.
It's not. It's a result of trauma and PTSD, and
it's a result of having to do things to people that hurt them for their own good.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I don't mean like the anime villain sense. I mean like me being a nurse and having to like put a needle in somebody.
Yeah.
Like, she has that same energy where it's like, I can't get emotionally attached to you because I'm hurting you, but this is necessary and you just don't understand it and you can't get it explained to you, so there's no point in me getting any emotional attachment or trying to explain anything.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm, this cold bitch.
Yeah.
Icon.
Yeah.
I stand.
This, I don't want to, I'll just say this, I don't want to talk about it, but this makes me wonder if you are going to like Rebellion. Hearing you say that.
I'm assuming I'm going to this whole time, so...
Okay, alright, well, anyway, moving on.
Anyway, so moving on, we get this whole thing about how can I move on with this ruined body and all this crap, and it's like, well, we had this death metaphor, but now it's starting to get phrased way more like a rape one, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bodily autonomy.
Yeah.
If I say violation, it makes it sound a lot more like rape, but it's kind of more like almost like finding out someone stole your kidney and you wake up in a bathtub full of ice.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't give anyone permission to do this.
Yeah.
So Kyoko uses mind speech to call Sayaka outside of her room, and she's like, listen, I want to talk to you. So they're walking along down. Amazingly, this is not a bridge. This is a cobblestone path. It feels like it should be a bridge scene.
Isn't this the same path that they walk down to go to school every morning? Yes. It's just sunset.
Yeah, it's more stylized, but...
Yeah, actually it is. It's the river that they walk past.
Yep.
Yeah, I did not notice that until now. So Kyoko, while they're walking, Kyoko has a bag of apples, and she's like, "Yep, this whole thing sucks, all right, but I thought about it, and I guess it's okay. It's not really a deal breaker." And she basically explains her credo to Sayaka. So she says, the way I see it, if you live for yourself and you just do whatever you want and you just do what you want, you have no regrets. And then when something goes wrong, you only have yourself to blame. So you don't have to worry about other people ever. And they eventually walk, and Sayaka doesn't really respond to that. You can kind of see how this scene's going to end.
Yeah.
Already. But they walk into a broken down church that's crumbling apart with enormous stained glass windows. And Kyoko leads her up to the pulpit and tosses her an apple. And Sayaka, still being difficult,
an asshole,
throws it to the ground.
Apple.
Yeah, and Kyoko loses it.
She's not impressed.
She is not happy, and we're going to find out why very shortly. But she grabs her collar and says, "If you waste food again, I'm going to kill you." Right? Is that what she says?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really extreme. So she picks the apple back up, and we then get Kyoko's backstory here, basically.
I love the way they visually.
Yeah, I love the way they did it, and the way that it looks like the same kind of drawn figures from
the Witch Labyrinth.
Yeah,
the little.
It's
puppets,
like a little
puppet.
puppet.
Yeah.
And they're creepy as balls, and he has the same gem on his chest that she kind of has on her uniform. And
yeah, you guys are the Kyoko fans. One of you guys want to walk us through this flashback?
You go
so she's a pastor's daughter.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Do you have to make that joke or no?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead. So she has this happy family. Her dad is a preacher, but he starts preaching the wild shit for the youngins, and they don't specify what it is he's preaching because it does not matter. But it got spicy enough that he gets excommunicated, which means he was Catholic before.
Yeah.
And they're hardcore.
I do think. See, I don't know if they're necessarily Catholic because he has a
he's
wife
married
and children. But I don't are there other Christian denominations you can get excommunicated?
Keep in mind too that the Japanese word was probably something different. So this might be just
it's something like
he got booted.
Yeah. When I watched the dub, it didn't say excommunicated. It said they kicked him out of the church.
Yeah, but which is probably the better word because excommunicated has such a specific meaning that I don't think they intended.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm also struggling because his manner of dress isn't that Catholic? Yeah. So if this is potentially Japanese cultural appropriation here, where they don't really know what they're talking about exactly.
From what I understand, the Christian presence in Japan was not. It's not Catholic. No. It's not. What got there was just more of a non-denominational.
It's not Catholic.
Jesuits. I don't know, but I'm pretty. I feel fairly sure it was not a hugely Catholic thing. I'd have to go back and look.
So it's not. But
they're probably filtering their image of it through.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway.
But either way, he got booted out of the church and apparently was a quote-unquote raving cultist. But from her perspective, that was not the case.
That part interests me because Kyoko says that from the outside, she's like, I mean, it probably made it look like he was trying to start a cult on the outside. And I've always wondered if that's what actually he was doing.
Yeah, I kind of...
what he does later.
Yeah. And honestly, the imagery around it, around the flashback, the group that shows up and all of that looks very culty.
Don't get too far.
Weird. Okay.
We'll get there.
So he gets kicked out of the church, but he keeps trying to preach. He's preaching at windows and stuff and getting trashed and
water thrown on him.
Yeah. So it's not going well, and he can't feed the family, and they get poor and they can't eat, and that's why Kyoko's got her food thing. There's a picture of her and her sister with each of them having half an apple.
Isn't that her mother? Or is that her sister? I don't know.
She's got a little sister.
She's got a little sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's why she's weird about food and constantly eating.
Yeah. And then
which
she's
now It was a quirk, and now it's just sad.
Now it's sad. Now it's like, aw,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
But, so now they're in this, like, really shitty situation, and Kyoko, as we expected, goes off and makes her fucking wish for somebody else.
Yep.
She wishes that people would listen to her dad. And
understand what he was saying.
And believe in him and all that. She wished for a religion, basically.
Yeah.
Which Kyubei can deliver, I guess.
Yeah.
What a badass. But, yeah, then there are all these people that show up to listen to him preach, and they all have this gem, and now that he's preaching, like, we went from, like, the kind of cutout sketch, like, or, you know,
the puppet
thing, and now he's, like, an actual figure. But everyone in the background just they have, like, pink eyes, and they're all dressed the same, and they look like zombies, and they all have the same gem that's on his neck, which is, like, this seems way more like a cult than it was a church.
Yeah.
I do want to note that when she was saying that people came and they actually listened to him, there was a shot of one of these people with their eyes normal, and then as she said that, they turned to the glowing pink.
It's
so
very,
it's very
it's very yikesy.
Yeah.
But it works. Goes well. She moves on to being her badass magic girl. She's like, yeah.
Right.
Pastor's
Me and my dad are saving the world together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, she's got that whole, like, high beliefs, moral righteousness thing going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dad finds out, however, somehow that she's a magical girl and finds out about the wish, which seems strange that he'd find out this, but he finds out.
That could have just been a conversation where he's like, what the hell are you doing this for?
Yeah, is this why?
She's like, well, I did this so that people would listen to you, kind of thing.
Yeah, which, you know, reasonably, I think, he does not take well, because he didn't want people to be forced to listen to him. He just figured out his, you know, little kid is doing all the lifting here, and he's just a nutter. But he says she's like an evil witch or something, which
that's tainting people's minds.
which kind of informs the perspective of this cult/religion he's running.
Yeah.
Which isn't great. But he loses his shit, starts breaking down, starts drinking, and being what is obviously abusive, because we already have shots of her and her sister and her mom, like, with their heads off and stuff.
Yeah.
Which to me seems like, yeah, he was being abusive and on top of being drunk and everything else. And then it advances to that he finally kills them and himself. Except for Kyoko, for whatever reason.
I'm guessing that Kyoko could have probably just saved herself or defended herself or healed her wound or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he would have thought he killed her.
Yeah.
Also that, yeah.
But, so, that's a thing that he does, and then she's left on her own, which is why she kind of rules the way she does. On her fucking own. But she does end up with a very, I think, justified aversion to making your wishes for other people.
Yeah, so she explains, like, listen, I made a wish for my dad without knowing what he wanted. I didn't really know what he actually wanted. Like, I thought I knew, and I didn't. And then I made a promise to myself to never use magic for anyone but myself ever again.
She goes on to explain something that I thought is really interesting, because she basically does the whole everything has to work in balance. She's like, miracles aren't free, you know, happiness isn't free, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Yeah. Which,
and actually that
clearly not what Kyubei sells the miserable.
No, I feel like that tracks with just about everything that's going on here.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like, well, I mean, do you remember back when I was saying, like, well, if magical girls do turn into witches, there's no way for them to win? They can't ever eradicate the witches?
Mm-hmm. And it's just going to be a constant cycle of witches and...
Yeah. And so I feel like this equal amounts of hope and despair when you make a wish kind of thing. I feel like that's just another reflection of this equilibrium that Kyubei wants to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he's kind of tending this so that it keeps functioning and not necessarily for any one side to win.
But it is very internally consistent with Kyoko's stance on life. Because if your perspective is that, for anything good to happen, something equally bad has to happen. For someone to be happy, something is going to make somebody else sad. Living for yourself to make yourself happy is not being cruel. It's just accepting that balance exists and preferring that the balance favor you.
Yeah.
But she's like, well, for me to be protected and for me to be happy, I have to unfortunately let these witches hatch. That's that whole perspective informed by that, and it's not wrong.
No,
I mean, it's savage and it's mean, but it's not wrong, and I think it's probably more on the nose than you're supposed to realize at this point.
Yeah.
As far as how it works, but I love her.
Yeah, Kyoko.
She's pretty great. Yeah, she's pretty great. Sayaka.
However, does not love her.
Yeah, Sayaka asks, "Why did you tell me all of this?" And she says, "I want you to stop moping and do what you want, because we made the same mistake and you got to stop feeling bad about it. It's not going to change anything, and I'm trying to save you some grief here." And Sayaka apologizes for having the wrong idea about Kyoko, but basically she, Sayaka is gonna Sayaka. Yeah, she says, I don't have any regrets about wishing for somebody else, and I don't think that I paid too big a price for it. And I'm gonna keep doing exactly how I want to do it, even if you think it's dumb. And she calls her out on the fact that she probably is stealing all the food that she's eating. Yeah.
Which she then gets on her fucking moral high horse. Well, then I can't eat it because I'm better.
Well,
fuck you. I don't like you.
That's honestly
that's a very simplistic moral view.
Yeah, this clashing morality is really interesting because, clearly because of what happens later, Sayaka's morality is portrayed as being a wrong one.
You know what, honestly, and even, they're kind of creeds, because Kyoko's thing is, this worked terribly, I'm not going to waste my wishes and my hopes on other people from now on. And Sayaka does the I'm going to regret nothing ever again, which is a much more...
Yeah.
It just seems to me as, way less calculated and way less aware of what's going on around her. It's an easy thing to say when you are deluded as balls.
Yeah, it comes back around to how dishonest Sayaka is with herself about her emotions.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Kyoko's like, well, since everything is all of this stuff is going to have bad effects, then I'm just going to live for myself, and then if I do regret anything, it's my own damn fault. Yep. And Sayaka says, well, I'm just not going to regret anything ever. Which is no.
It's no, because not only does she say I'm never going to regret anything ever, she's saying that with the presumption that she doesn't have anything she should have to regret.
Yeah.
Because as far as she's concerned, this was still a great idea, and she's always in the moral right, and she's just got that moral rigidity that makes it easy to not regret anything because you never think you did anything wrong. Fuck you. That's easy. Doing something wrong and then having to deal with whether you regret it or not is the hard part, and that's what Kyoko had to do.
Yeah.
She's being so defiant and so unwilling to acknowledge that she made a mistake here.
Yep.
Yeah. And, that's just a very
Yeah, we kind of got into this when we were reviewing the episode, and it's the kind of rigidity that, it's that kind of very simplistic belief of a morality that comes from, inside. I keep mentioning Miki from Uchiha because he's the same fucking trope. Him and Sayaka both have this idea that, a pure morally right viewpoint comes from within, almost deliberately from a place of ignorance of the full picture, because you don't need the full picture to know what's right and what's wrong.
That's
almost
the whole purity and innocence thing.
Yeah,
those are honestly just dolled up ignorance.
Yeah, it's
is really,
and it's
not.
And it's very rigid. Versus a morality that has to stretch around you and grow as you do and involve everybody else.
Yeah, and adapt to the things that are going on around you. That's a much more workable moral stance. But
you know what? And at this point, there's kind of this interesting contrast, because Sayaka's on way on this end of that philosophy, and Kyoko's way on the other end of this philosophy.
Yeah.
And Madoka, like, is kind of in the middle trying to figure out what fuck is going on. She does not know which of these viewpoints is right. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of her struggle with regards to, like, what she's going to wish for and what she wants people to do and how she wants to influence people or not is her trying to make these two things meet when they can't. I don't think they can. Yeah. But she wants to make everybody happy, which is, I mean, aww, yeah, sweet. I get it.
She's a good girl.
She's a good girl, and she wants everybody to be happy, but it immobilizes her. Yeah. The attempt to find a balance between these two viewpoints has left her at a total impasse. She can't go either way.
As a result, she hasn't done anything.
Yeah. She kind of does. Yeah, exactly. Like, she's like the main character, but she has not done anything aside from, like, talk to people and follow them around and try to make everybody happy.
Although she did grab the soul gem and throw it off the bridge.
She did do that, yes.
She did do
But that was an attempt to
credit.
make both of these people happy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is an interesting contrast.
It's an interesting little side avenue there.
Yeah. But,
and before we leave this really great church scene, I wanted to point out the significance of her having apples here.
Yeah.
And then and then angrily eating her entire bag of apples as Sayaka walks away.
Yes. I love it because they totally staged her to throw the apple. Because in any other anime, you know that would be what she's going to do, is she's going to chuck the apple at the back of Sayaka's head, but she can't. She has to devour it.
Yeah.
Because it's get it? You're eating the apple. In a church. Just devouring it, shoving it into your mouth.
Are you like getting
Sayaka's turning away. I love biblical symbolism so much.
She does, though.
It's totally culturally appropriated religious symbolism. It's so cute. It's not how you would frame that in, locally, so to speak. But it is exactly what that is. Like, she's eating apples in a church. Mm-hmm. She's eating it's cute. I like it. It's kind of wibbly.
Sayaka rejects Kyoko's proposition that she just embrace sin and not worry about it anymore.
She's just nope.
Yeah.
She just nopes out completely.
Nopes out,
that's bad.
And Kyoko is frustrated and eating the knowledge because she couldn't get this other one to eat it. Yeah. She wouldn't eat the fucking knowledge.
Yeah, and she really was trying to extend the olive branch here, like trying to help her out a little bit since she's obviously so miserable. And, Sayaka would rather be miserable and right than happy and wrong.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. So, the next day at school, Sayaka does go back to school. Madoka and Hitomi run up to say good morning. And then while they're walking to school, who is back at school but Kyosuke on some crutches? And Sayaka goes from, oh, don't worry about me, I'm feeling better today, to, oh, fuck, my day's ruined. So, while he's in the classroom chit-chatting with his friends, they're kind of watching him off the other side of the classroom.
Didn't you point out while we were watching that his hair
is kind of similar to Sayaka's. They have kind of similar dues there.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's due to the character designer kind of generally having a certain style.
Possibly, yeah. But I mean, it's also just kind of cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Madoka tells Sayaka, like, hey, why don't you go talk to him? And then Sayaka, anxiously says, no, it's okay. And we get this shot of Hitomi watching Sayaka and listening to this conversation with a neutral expression on her face.
Yeah, that kind of neutral expression, though.
Yeah. So she invites Sayaka to that fast food restaurant that we've seen the characters go to several times.
Yes, that must be a really good restaurant. Although it doesn't make me want a hot dog. She's eating a hot dog, and now I'm like, hot dogs.
A hot dog and a coffee.
Which,
Hitomi's like, I want to talk to you today about love. And which is a weird... I feel like Hitomi has a little bit of a flair for the dramatic.
She does. But she's also more perceptive than anyone else in the room, too.
Yeah. I am looking forward to talking more about her in the future, because I really like her, and I feel like people kind of overlook her role in the show a little bit.
Yeah.
I might end up eating these words because I might be, like, dumb, but I kind of feel like this scene where she observes, like, she can tell that this girl's, like, head over heels, and she's giving her this offer, and putting all the cards on the table, and all this kind of thing, and it utterly embodies to me why Kyubei doesn't go after her.
Yeah.
Because she's clearly someone that would think about it, and, like, that's kind of what they portray her as. Yeah. I mean, I might be eating that because he might go and chase her down later, but...
No, like, since you said it already, like, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's... Kyubei would never go after her because she is someone that would ask the right questions.
She would ask. She wouldn't just go for this. And, I don't think it's really spoilers to say that, interestingly, despite the fact that she continues to be a reoccurring side character in a lot of the spin-offs and the movies and stuff like that, she never, in any of the versions of the story, any of the spin-offs, becomes a magical girl, ever.
She's Wakaba.
She's very cool. She's not.
Yeah,
she's Naru.
Naru from Sailor Moon. Yeah,
the one that Anthe played in the musical.
Yeah. So we talked earlier, like in one of a previous episode, about how when Madoka asks her mom what she would wish for, her mom doesn't even answer the question. Instead, she starts plotting how she could actually do it in real life.
She's plotting oh yeah, you're right.
Hitomi's the same kind of person. It's like, why would I wish for it when I could just work for it and do it? Like, I don't need to wish for it, I'll just do it. Like, so I completely agree with you. Like, Hitomi is the kind of person who, first of all, wouldn't really want to wish that bad because she has goals that she's already working towards. She's already trying to make that a reality. And second, is probably smart enough to ask relevant questions. Yeah.
She's a year older than them?
No.
Or they're all the same age.
Yeah. So you mentioned I'm making more of an effort to let you guys do some narration, since I realized listening in the last episode that I do a lot of the talking, and that's bad. So would one of you guys like to tell us about this deal that she proposes?
You go for it. I went on my Kyoko church thing.
So Hitomi gets her to the restaurant, sits her down, and then drops the bomb on her, saying, "I know you like Kyosuke," and says, "Look, I'm not gonna lie to myself anymore. I love him too. So here's the deal. I know you've loved him for longer. You get 1 day to go and confess your feelings to him, and then I'm gonna do it."
This is very generous and good.
This is really generous of her. Like,
it's very honest and very mature.
Yeah. For all she knows.
However, it's also very smart.
Yeah.
Because you're cutting off a lot of drama at the curb. And it is also, I said this because I'm a cynical hag, this is an offer she is making, presuming she will win.
Yep. It's true.
I mean, she's the rich girl, she's all cultured and fancy pants. Like, this is not an offer you make if you genuinely don't think on any level that it's going to favor you.
That's cynical.
That might just be me being greedy, so.
Yeah, we don't know enough about their friendship, really, or how long they've known each other. I feel like fair. You could also read this as her genuinely trying to get ahead of this drama.
Yeah.
And possibly being completely okay with it not working out, because this is Hitomi, and she'll just find another guy. Like, I feel
that is true. She's like... She knows she's the hotness, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which,
also,
good for her, I guess.
What you're saying is true too, though, because if they are close, like they have known each other for a long time, then she probably knows that Sayaka, what the kind of person that she is, and the fact that she's not going to do this because she's such a coward, you know? Yeah. It
is. There's a lot of thinking going on behind the eyes here.
Definitely. So
which I actually really like.
Basically, like, she straight up says, too, that she doesn't want Sayaka to be jealous and bitter. She's giving her this chance because of it. Which I thought was really neat. Because that's, again, really more perceptive than I would expect from any of the characters in this show. Nobody has...
She's the adult in the room.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
She's the adult. And everybody else is an idiot.
So, We've got the nighttime scene where Sayaka's going to come out and go hunting.
Again.
She sees Madoka
and,
there.
Yeah. And Madoka's like,
Well, I mean,
so, okay.
His facepalm, narrate.
So, Sayaka's like clearly battling with what she's gonna do with this offer, and she's gonna take it out on Madoka and get all like, I don't deserve anything, I don't deserve kindness. My body is ruined. She goes on like how can I want this dude that I'm into? He can't touch me. I'm ruined. I'm soiled goods. Like it's like literally. Where's the line where it's just the worst?
There. Let's at least give this a mention here that she says already that she almost had a regret today, and that regret was saving Hitomi.
Yes, which I think was interesting because the actual thing she should have regretted was the contract she made in the first place, but she still thinks that was the right thing to do.
Yes.
She's not letting herself admit to herself that that was the wrong thing to do.
She's sticking with that, I'm not going to regret anything on that point. Yeah. She regrets not letting a person that was a competitor die. And in ignorance at the time that was a competitor.
Yep.
Which is some, like, next level 6D chess self-delusion.
Well, yeah. And that
it's
also, there's a lot of self-flagellation going on there, because she says right after that she's a bad ally of justice.
Yes.
Or something. So it's basically like, this, to me, looks like her getting caught in her moral code to the point that she can't get out of it.
She's spinning in circles. She does not...
Yeah.
Because her moral code does not work.
It's basically just
it's
a downhill...
rigid.
It's a downhill slide to self-punishment, is what it is.
It really is. And the fact that it leads so quickly from that self-flagellation about a decision she couldn't have made, didn't make, had no context at the time to make, she's going to start, like, freaking out that she didn't get Kyosuke, and she's going to phrase it as nothing that she can do because she's dead, and she's a zombie, and her body is ruined, and all of this, like, I can't ask him to hold me when I have a body like this. And it's like, well, now it's a rape metaphor. Because, like, this is literally the same conversation, word for word, that you would have after...
I think what you said to me is, like, things that rape victims say for like 500 or something.
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah.
But it is like just rape victim 101. And when I say rape victim, I mean like rape victim, not, in this case it could be like, violent rape, and it could be episode 33 Anuchina rape. This is like this is
common to all.
Yes, this is common to all situations where you had sex and did not want it, even if you thought you did at the time,
feeling that your body is not that it's tainted or broken.
And in this case, it's a literal disconnect of your body and your mind. Like, it is literally like her body she doesn't think of as like human anymore. Mm-hmm. But they keep making like there's every once in a while they'll bring up like the zombie thing or something like that. But the whole phrasing around it is so
But I mean that's effective.
It is effective.
It is effective.
It is very effective. It's using like the interpretation that the audience would have to create the dramatic tension.
Exactly.
Because frankly, the rape victim angle is a lot easier for any viewer to relate to than you are a literal walking zombie now. So
yeah.
Even though it's the same thing.
I totally agree, because like I think it's a pretty clear rape metaphor here. Although they do it without it really having any kind of sexual imagery.
Which is actually very nice.
Yes.
I actually really appreciate that.
Do you guys remember when I said at the beginning about
it
how
tones it down?
There's the most sexy stuff in the whole show is in the opening.
It's true.
Like,
so you know what though?
Yeah.
And this is something that was true even in the beginning when we kept going like, I hate it. The sexual connotation was never baked into the story and the characterization. Yeah, it was always in like the directing or the framing, or like how you said our voyeurs and dings require that the thing that we're saying a voyeurs and ding is for is not actually interacted with in the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same principle. Like the sexual imagery and the sexual connotation of the content was never something that the characters interact with.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that anything that could be construed that way is something directly relating to what a character is saying and doing.
Yeah.
And it's being taken, and it's presented very sensitively, and it's not super obvious, and it's not rubbed in your face, and it's not gross, and it's sincere. And I actually, like, really appreciate that, because this would have been a very cheap way to cash that in.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
And they don't at all. They don't give you
It
anything.
doesn't feel exploitative. It's a rape metaphor that doesn't feel exploitative in any way.
Which is frankly not what I was expecting to find here, and I'm really
I'm
glad to see it.
I'm impressed.
A+. Again, I guess you aren't totally evil.
Turns out the Saya Nauta guy might know what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe a little.
It's hard to imagine, but
it is a little hard to imagine.
So, after she's had a good cry, they go off to hunt witches. And we see Kyoko hanging out in some of the typically weird industrial backgrounds of this city where everything's half under construction. And she's watching like a glowing thing below her, which we find out is what the witches' labyrinths look like from the outside. So she's like watching Sayaka fight this witch.
Basically,
and Homura shows up, and she's like, I wouldn't expect you to be doing this. I'd expect you to be going after that grief seed.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyoko's watching to see how she does, like if she's going to listen to her, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As they watch, somehow Kyoko knows this, but somehow she knows that it's not going well.
I would imagine because of
there's
the
like
way
this kind of like flashing, and it's
flare.
taking a long time, and it's I think it's more just like, why is it taking so long? That's what she says even.
Yeah.
Like, why is it taking her so long?
They heard your prayers. We get a witch.
We get a witch.
Oh my god!
And I love the way it's shot.
It's so gorgeous.
Yeah,
so beautiful. It's all silhouette. It's just gorgeous.
It's the silhouette of like an arm, and it's holding up like a torch. And these little dragon things that come at her look like almost like they have cubate ears at seconds. I don't know if that's deliberate or not, but at this point, I feel like if I say it, it's probably deliberate. But
they look like, I would call them snakes, but they have ears on their little heads. Yeah, so it's weird. It's like dragons, puppy dog heads. I don't know
or
what
Hydra.
how exactly.
Yeah, I feel like Hydra.
Hydra. Yeah.
I love that move that she does, where she like jumps up in the air
and bounces off
of her magic platform or whatever.
Out of like spinning musical notes and stuff. It is really cool, and it's actually, this is I think probably one of my favorite ones visually, just because it's so stark.
It is very
It's just
stark.
this black and white thing, and it just conveys like the mental state she's in so well. She's all desaturated, and the only thing that is in red is blood.
Yeah.
Like, the only color is the blood, which is such a, like, Schindler's List kind of move. So.
Yeah. This witch is named Elsa Maria.
Of course, Maria. Why not?
Yeah. Here's
a religious
the description.
one.
Here's her Pokedex description. The witch of shadow with a self-righteous nature. She continually prays for all of creation and drags all life equally into her shadow without breaking her posture. One hoping to defeat her must know the blackest anguish. Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty grim.
So she's got a lot of Christian imagery in this labyrinth. There's crosses and that kind of stuff.
All black and white with red, not just the blood, because the torch is red as well.
The torch is red.
Yeah.
Yes. But the torch, just like in the flashback for Kyoko, the major point of color was the torches.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool how this seems to be taking place on like the outstretched arm of a Statue of Liberty kind of.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like the thing that she's holding is like such a religious looking. I didn't want to say it because I thought I'd be like sounding like on my shit.
Yeah.
I should have just said it.
But
it is like it's totally it makes sense because she's having like a crisis of belief.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
it follows that, you know, once you've already had the, like, Christian imagery set with, you know, Kyoko's father, and it's kind of going on to this, she's fighting herself as much as anybody else at this point.
Actually, what really struck me about Twitch is that tree imagery now again, which is what happened in that first Avant, the very, very first thing that we saw of the show. And
it just grows up.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're right.
So I don't know, I don't know if that's a connection or a callback or what, but it just stuck in my mind as being, that's interesting. Why would they do that?
Well, this is probably the sequence most visually similar to that one. Because that one also had a very stark kind of high contrast. And when the other witch labyrinths are like just color, just blazing in your eyeballs and all this stuff, having it scaled down like this is shocking because it's a break of routine.
So it is extremely similar to that first one. So I wonder if there's not some kind of like some commonality between the two of them, some kind of significance. I don't know. It's something I'll have to think about. If there's something there, it's off. We're not going to know. Yeah, no, it's. But I need a bigger sample size.
Yes. We shall see.
Yes,
we will get our sample size in time.
I actually really love the way they did the tree thing. It looks like it's growing out of her back, like she's sitting there
like wings,
cross-legged, with her head bowed, and then the tree is growing out of her back. She's not even facing Sayaka. She's just So
she attacks her without even really needing to move.
Yeah,
it's Ava Wings.
Ava Wings. That's right. Sayaka gets grabbed by this witch in this big tree wing, and Kyoko shows up to free her out. And she's like, "All right,
this
watch
is dumb.
how it's
I can't
done."
Watch this anymore.
Yeah, and she's like, "Watch how it's done. I'm gonna help you out." And Sayaka, of course, says, "No, I don't want any help." And she surges ahead, cuts the witch's head off, and it starts going crazy.
Gets some issues going there. It doesn't seem to quite have killed the witch though, because
well, that's the thing. I mean, if it's blackest anguish,
she's not done
then she can't kill the witch yet because she's not in blackest anguish.
She's getting there though.
Well, that's the point of the thing.
Yeah.
But so that's why cutting the witch's head off didn't work, is because she wasn't in blackest anguish.
Well, that's been a theme because that didn't work for Mommy either.
Yeah. And the animation in the sequence is so great.
It's so
gorgeous.
Yeah, this is very, it's visceral. It just looks nuts. And I like that the sound effect is, metal hitting metal, almost.
Yeah. With, a squish noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she starts hacking away at this witch.
She's
giggling.
Just losing her shit.
Yeah.
And she do, that weird face, the no eyes, but her mouth is, this,
featureless,
looking featureless grin, and it just comes across so you're dead inside energy.
Yeah.
Which she thinks is literal, so.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, Cube was right. I can block out all of the pain. I don't feel any pain at all anymore. Ha ha ha."
This is great.
Yeah. And then basically the episode just ends with her. We presumably she finishes off the witch, and we hear Madoka's voice just begging her to stop. Yeah. And that's the end.
Yeah.
Another happy episode of Magical Girl, Madoka Magica.
That was some intense shit.
You know
I
what?
love it.
This is because some of the witch labyrinths don't feel this way, but this one and that first one remind me keep an Oscar alive. You know, how when we talk about Utena versus Evangelion, I often say Evangelion makes the stakes feel real because when you see the battles, it does feel like there's a possibility you're going to lose. It costs something. The battles in Utena, I think, are deliberately sterile in the sense that you know there's no stakes. Nobody's going to die. The chance that Utena is going to win is fucking zero. Lose is going to be zero.
Yeah, but they're more emotional.
They're more emotional. They're symbolically an emotional debate.
Exactly.
But this one and it's very visceral, and at this point the show has well established stakes. People have died. Shit goes bad. And it really sells something like this so well by now.
Yeah.
That it's almost kind of cringy to watch. She's
yeah. No, I know I was definitely cringing away the first time I saw that.
I've watched some fucked up stuff and cringed less than I cringed watching her lose her shit on this.
I mean,
yeah.
We've seen martyrs and cringed less.
This is Asuka at an end of Evangelion. Energy. This is I don't care anymore.
Except I personally find Sayaka a much more sympathetic character.
No.
But
that's fair.
I'm a hater, so that's just me.
That is very fair. But it is very it's so visceral, and I'm kind of really looking forward to the rest and the ending sequence and everything, just from how intense this is already.
Yeah.
I have no doubt they're gonna sell that this feels huge stakes and is alarming.
Yeah. No,
It's making me look forward to the climax.
I know. I'm excited too. We're not really that far away.
No, we're not.
We've only got maybe 4 more episodes left after the next one.
Yeah, physically difficult for me to not just jump ahead.
I know, right?
No,
Like,
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you if you're not.
I've tried so hard not to jump ahead and spoil.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I've gotten far. The only spoiler I've seen, I don't think is for the series, and I have no context for, so it's meaningless to me. And I ran into it on Twitter on accident from somebody's cosplay. But
okay, good.
That's all. So I think I'm okay.
That's minimal.
We're already past the point where, and the spoiler that I found is relevant.
Yes, we already know.
Okay, good.
About the rings. Well, the rings. You remember when I
the rings are the witchcraft.
Reverse engineered the rings.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're already past the point where that matters because I've seen episode 8. So
we already
Okay, good.
So we have curious cats.
We do. Right. So we did have some curious cat questions. Here, this says for episode 8's podcast or later, but I included this here because I thought it was more appropriate to talk about it after this episode.
Okay.
I guess we've kind of already talked about some of this at this point, but I'll go ahead and read it anyway. What do you make of Hitomi's arc? When she tells Sayaka she's going to ask Kyosuke out tomorrow, is she trying to push her to hurry up and make a move so Sayaka can either get him or start getting over him, and Hitomi won't have to keep watching Sayaka pining? Because Hitomi's "you spend more time watching him than I do" sure sounds like she spends a lot of time watching Sayaka. Yes, I'm a Shiori fan, why do you ask? And then, on an unrelated note, have you seen the anime Red Garden? P.S. Hi, Sam.
Okay, so we have not seen Red Garden. That's the easiest part to start with.
I think I actually have it downloaded.
I have not seen it either.
Okay.
Anyway.
So, yeah, it does feel like
that's a somewhat more cynical interpretation of it, but I don't think it's untrue either. No. I think it can be both.
It's basically just like shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I like to think of it as, I like to give everyone and everything the benefit of the doubt. So I like to think of it as Hitomi, honestly trying to save herself and her friend some drama and, trying to be honest about it.
Which is,
but, you could just as easily say that she's smart enough to know that Sayaka was not going to do anything.
Well, and there's also a second component here to that. And Hitomi won't have to keep watching Sayaka pining, because Hitomi's "you spend more time watching him than I do" sure sounds like she spends a lot of time watching Sayaka.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a Shiori fan.
So that's suggestive of Hitomi maybe having feelings for Sayaka.
I could definitely see that. I don't get that same energy from her, but there are jokes, there were jokes made earlier on. Oh my god, you're all doing secret things without me!
I mean, there's definitely shipper food there.
There's some shipper flakes being sprinkled on this.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's a canon thing. It's a possibility. Why don't you write a fanfic about it?
Yes, and send it to us.
Oh, I am sure there are fanfics.
Well, yeah, I know.
But write more fanfic.
I want a bespoke fanfic. That's it. Also, thank you for saying hi to Sam. I'll make sure he appreciates it.
So, and then we did get some other questions, but this one looks like it's better for maybe the next episode or the episode after, and another one is might be saved until after the end of the show or after the movie, so why don't we come back to those? We will need some new Curious Cat questions for the next episode, so please send them on in. Send in your cocktail ideas.
Yes. Look, I'm an avid drinker. Give me something to drink.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a cocktail based on this.
You're gonna make an apple.
I'm gonna make some sort of religious-y apple cocktail.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
Send
in your shit post questions, like whether Madoka's parents enjoy pegging. Send in whatever. Yeah. Whoever sent that question. I love
Thank you. We do love shit posts.
Yeah, shit posts are like.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I once put it to somebody, let's shitpost heroically, let's shitpost in style. There, Oscar. There.
Yes. There you go.
I think I shitpost with excellent style.
Yes.
I think I shitpost with 0 style, and that is my style.
That is also a valid style.
Yeah.
All shitposting is valid, actually.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so we should probably do our plugs then. Oh wait, no, wishes. Wishes.
Oh, yeah. So my wish for this episode is, let's see. I wish for, well, I don't know. I need more time to think. You guys go.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a funny one.
I have a wish. It is not a funny one. Actually,
Okay.
I don't like Sayaka that much, but I
That's
feel
okay.
a lot of empathy for her, and I
Yeah.
Like I do
I
feel
wish
for her, but
that she had a more flexible moral code because that would have maybe helped in the end. That's my wish, honestly, is like, I wish that wasn't happening to her.
Yeah,
sad, but
she is really immature,
yeah.
and which she has every right to be since she's a kid.
yeah. I mean,
and like, it's not, I don't know, it's, what?
that would have. Okay, I'm gonna try and phrase this without being for Oscar. Kyoko is presumably the same age as everybody else, right?
Yeah.
She acts quite a bit older, given her background.
Oh my god, the redhead. Sigh!
No.
Sigh!
Depressing Kyoko thoughts.
No.
It I'm not saying
trying
it's
to
sexual.
say that-
I'm not saying it's sexual, but the framing of that backstory
Does
heavily
suggest abuse.
implies abuse.
Yeah.
Not necessarily sexual, but abuse of some kind.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
acts older than other characters, and that is characteristic
Abuse victims.
of abuse victims. So,
I mean,
And
yeah.
that
my wish
really-
for this episode is that hadn't happened.
Yeah. Basically, we just wish this episode
want-
never happened.
I wish that I had not parsed out the subtext that Kyoko is an abuse victim. That sucks.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But I do think it's there. That one I'm going to say is
Yeah. No,
I think that's fair.
I think that's a definite suggestion.
Listen,
Not-
they're all good girls.
They are
Yes,
all good
they
girls.
are all good
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah, they are.
I'm finally on the side of yes, they are all good
Yes.
girls.
They are all good
I-
girls and they all mean well.
Yeah.
I can relate to Sayaka. I don't hate her because I can relate to her to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was a kid, I had a very similar rigid kind of moral code. And then it's the kind of thing you grow out of as you get older. Every cynic is really just a disappointed idealist.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So
Can confirm.
yeah, and so like I've mentioned, I'm an attorney, so at a certain point, like, you see enough shit and you see enough at a certain point that wears off because you get to experience that the world is more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So I feel a little bit more sympathy for her because I can understand how she feels and why she wants it to be that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
honestly, the only reason that we're mad at her is because we understand it.
Yeah, exactly. It does suck, and you want her to be smarter and be better, but you can also completely understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
My hatred comes from a place where it's like, okay, I already got my boot in the ass about this, so I kind of resent that you haven't yet.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
She did get a boot in the ass.
Well,
Kyoko gave it to her,
not
but then
the-
she
you
turned
know-
around
you know
and
what I
doubled
mean, though.
down.
You know what I mean, though. Like,
Yeah.
we can relate to that experience,
Yeah.
but we're on the other side of it, so you just kind of want to be like, no, hurry, figure this out faster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
and actually, this is reminding me of that scene again with Madoka and her mom, where she's like, "You need to make mistakes now while you can still afford to do so." But these magical girls, they can't do that anymore. You know. So,
The stakes
my
are too
husband
high
is
for that.
here.
Yay!
Hello, husband. That's a
I'm
sign that we
so-
should probably try to wrap it up. How about more wishes for this episode?
Oh my god, we just had 2 depressing wishes. Okay.
Yeah.
I will go for a lighter one. I want a goddamn apple that is so shiny it can reflect me. Like, what the fuck was
those
that?
Are usually Red Delicious, isn't it, gross?
No, I've never seen that happen with any apple. No,
that's
it doesn't
way
happen.
way too much wax.
Okay,
on an
actually, you
apple.
know what? Having seen fruit in Japan, I buy it. That's probably.
I want
That's
one.
nuts.
I
What
want
they do
one.
to fruit is nuts.
I know, we bought those white strawberries.
I know they were delicious. So like, it's just perfectly equal and just
Yeah.
kind of scary. But
Yeah.
Anyway, your less depressing wish.
I wish she'd had some damn taiyaki. What's with this apple shit?
More taiyaki.
Girl, get you some junk food.
Give Kyoko taiyaki.
Yes.
Oh god, now I have to think of one and I still haven't
Yes.
thought of it.
Now you have to think of something happy. Enjoy.
I wish that people would appreciate Hitomi for doing nothing wrong.
Yeah,
Fair.
that is.
I've heard some takes about people not liking her and thinking that what she did was mean and wrong, and I don't think so, guys. I don't know about that one.
No,
Yeah.
that was really generous and very fair.
Yeah, I don't get
Yeah.
any sort of like nasty
No,
or
she didn't mean that. Badly.
nothing from her.
No.
That reminds me. Seeing as we just recorded Kappa Connection earlier today, we actually have a new segment on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the complaints corner for bad takes. So
So if you want to find as we go along, I can't hunt for them because I'll spoil everything.
yeah, but if you happen across any super bad takes, we are going to be very practiced.
I
in
have a
tearing
feeling
them
we're going to have
apart.
a whole episode about that after we've watched Rebellion. But
Yeah.
Oh my god. I can think of several already. Although, honestly, there's this one YouTube video in particular that keeps getting recommended to me, and I want it to go away. No matter how many times I tell YouTube I'm not interested in this video, it keeps trying to get me to watch this video. And I hate this video just from the thumbnail and the title.
Oh
And
my
it's
god!
it's Rebellion related, and I hate it.
Oh, that's
Well, maybe we could do a bad takes episode.
Well, like, I don't know. I'm trying to be more tolerant with bad, quote unquote, bad takes on this podcast because that is so polarizing, that movie, and there are good reasons to like it. Like, I don't feel like my opinion on it is the be all end all opinion.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I mean,
can't wait for this damn movie.
I mean, like, galaxy brain takes, like that one guy who was like, girls can't understand Utena.
That is the galaxy brain.
Yeah.
Girls can't understand Madoka.
Yeah, girls can't understand Madoka. The end.
Oh,
Done.
God. I'm
Oh,
sure
God.
someone out there has said it.
Yeah.
On that
probably.
note, 3 girls that don't understand Madoka.
That's right. We should probably.
Oh, that's us. Maybe that
That's
should be
us.
the name of this podcast.
3 girls that don't understand Madoka.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
anyway, thanks for listening, y'all. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Madoka Magicast and on Tumblr. Curious Cat, same thing, Madoka Magicast. You can follow me on Twitter at Lambda Power, so that's Lambda like the Greek letter and then power. And there's a link there, there's a link there to all the stuff I do.
And you can follow us at OHTORI_NU on Twitter and our site, OHTORI.NU. And if you should happen to follow us, beware, because mostly it is shit.
It is all garbage.
Yeah. We're
Don't
garbage
follow
people. We live in a dumpster.
Yeah.
That's just how things go. If that is your style, then we are here for you.
That's why you guys love Kyoko so much, because I feel like that's also her philosophy
Yeah,
at this point.
It is. I think she
Dumpster
would
girl.
be a shit posting Twitter.
Yeah, you know what? I am garbage. I might as well just live in the dumpster now, because
Go directly.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, y'all.
Bye.
Have a nice night. Bye.